Hello, and welcome to Cheers. That's one woman's opinion. I am your host, Carolyn Mills. So, I took last week off, as you all know, for Holy Week. Easter is my favorite holiday, and I'm kind of a hectic week. I fell, can't remember if it was the day before Easter or the day before that, but I slipped and fell in mud. Yeah, I made it the entire winter without falling on ice, and then slipped and fell in mud. That was fun. Hurt. Um, my carpal tunnel's getting worse, so I need to have surgery on that. I see the doctor next Friday. I'm not having the surgery that Friday. I have to just go for the consultation so they can get the approval so that they can do the surgery. I have to do it on both, have it done on both arms, but I'm going to do one at a time so that way I can still have access to at least one arm and hand at all times. Since you probably all know, I've told you this before, since I can't hear, I prefer to sign when I can. Most people I know, unfortunately, only speak, so I do speak most of the time, but I prefer to sign anytime I can. I don't like talking, I only do it because I need to. Um, so that has been going on. I have to return to my disability doctor because their one doctor wasn't there, so I have to see him again. Or see him the first time. They're gonna have the interpreter there and whatnot. And we went to the sunrise service on Easter. I had to get up at 4:15. However, I had to go to the bathroom, so I woke up at 2:15 and could not get back to sleep. And I swear I'm still trying to catch up on the sleep from sunrise service because I've been exhausted every day. Today I forgot to do laundry, so I gotta do that tomorrow morning. I usually do it on Thursdays. Totally forgot. And then I got late and I was like, I don't care. Tomorrow I got plenty of clothes. I just usually do it weekly so it doesn't build up. So that's gonna happen tomorrow. So yeah, it's been kind of a hectic, crazy, tiring, sleepy week. But we are here now with season 3, episode 5, Sam Turns the Other Cheek. This episode first aired on November 1st, 1984. It was directed by James Burrows. It was written by David Lloyd, who passed away in 2009 from prostate cancer. The guest cast, and I hope I pronounce his name right, Carmen Argenziano, who played Marvin, and he passed away in 2019 from an undisclosed cause, and Mark Sawyer as customer number one. Cheers is filmed in front of a live studio audience, was said by Shelley Long. In the summary, the cold open, Sam breaks up with a woman after he learns she is married. The woman is upset, but Sam says it's a rule he has, where everybody knows your name plays. Sam explains he dumped the woman because she was married. This is one of the few times the cold open actually goes with the rest of the episode. Usually it's just something random, but this one goes with the actual episode. Diane says that her relationship is stable and Sam's belongs in one. She says she'll have to share that with Fraser, whose greatest pleasure is puns. Sam replies, "You mean now that he's sleeping with you?" Diane asks Carla why she didn't enjoy Sam's mean spirit and insult. Carla tells him she has a bad toothache. Coach suggests she goes to the dentist, and she agrees and leaves. I always love how everyone in this bar that works there, the employees, they just come and go anytime. They rarely ask Sam, and even when they do, if Sam says no, they still leave. So like here, as far as I can tell, she was still working because she was still there, and I think she did take off her apron from her because she was working. But she doesn't say, "Hey, can I take off to go to there?" She says, "Yeah, I'm going to." And she just leaves, and that you see that all 11 years, people just come and go as they please. Norm says that Vera is nagging him to buy a new house, but first he has to sell the one that they already have. Cliff says that he's looking for a place, and Norm responds, "It's yours." Cliff wants to see it first. and says he wants a place of his own, and we learn that lives with his mother. He also learns that Cliff's father abandoned them a couple of years ago. Norm and Cliff leave, followed by Coach. Sam is closing up as a man enters the bar. He is Maxine's husband, the woman Sam broke up with in the cold open. He pulls a gun on Sam, asking why he did it. Sam explains that he did not know that she was married and ended it as soon as he found out. The man said Sam's not the first one. Sam gets him some scotch and they talk about women. Sam takes the gun to put it somewhere where it's not going to do any damage. And in the process, he shoots himself in the butt. The next day, Carla comes in and is cheerful because she went to the dentist and her toothache is gone. She explains, I grabbed him where I knew I could get his attention and said, we're not going to hurt each other, are we? Sam comes in with a cane. He says it's no big deal and that there was just some trouble at the bar last night and he caught a bullet in the league. They applaud him as a hero. He then embellishes the story, saying there were multiple guys, but only one had a gun that he saw. He then compares his actions to Bruce Lee. The gang cheer, Mayday, Mayday. Diane is suspicious of what Sam said, especially when Coach slaps Sam on the butt and Sam yells and jumps. Sam goes into his office, and of course, Diane follows. He confesses he got shot in the rear. Diane asks him how that happened. Maxine comes in mentioning on to Sam how her husband left with a gun last night. Diane now realizes he was shot in the rear by a jealous husband. Sam clarifies he was not shot in the rear by the jealous husband. He explains he was putting the gun in his back pocket when it went off. Sam wants Diane to back him up. She agrees, but thinks he should confess. She tells him the bigger the lie, the bigger the fool one might appear later. Sam says he got carried away and it's over. It's actually kind of surprising that Diane's willing to keep the lie not rat about since Diane's so big on honesty. Carla comes in and tells him the 6 o'clock news is there. Sam is talking to some men near the front door there, and Cliff comes from the back, and Coach asks him if he's going to buy Norm's house. Cliff says yes and plans to take advantage of Norm to get the house cheaper. Diane is upset that Cliff wants to do that since Norm is his best friend. Cliff tells her that real estate is a dog eat dog world. And in my head, I'm hearing, and I'm wearing milk phone underwear. Norm comes out, and Cliff gives him top offer. Norm happily accepts it. Cliff is now concerned there's something wrong with the house, and Norm tells him the market value is not good. After everyone is gone, Diane tells Sam he is living a lie, but Sam doesn't care, and Diane leaves. Marvin returns. He pulls a gun on Sam again. I'm curious, how many guns does this man own? I mean, did Sam return the gun that he got shot with? Because that doesn't seem logical, especially because he would obviously had to go to the hospital. And I would think if when he says he got shot, they would maybe confiscate. I don't know anything how guns work, but I would think that he would get the gun would be confiscated, and they probably would ask who did it. But since he did it himself, he wouldn't have to run out Marvin. Um, so does but Marvin, if he already had the gun, did he give back the gun? Okay, you didn't kill me. Go home. Here's your gun. I mean, that's kind of weird. Or does Marvin have multiple guns? Just a random thought there. But Marvin is upset that Sam got publicity for all this. Diane comes in and he won't let her leave since he figures she's going to call the police. Marvin tells Sam he can't eat, sleep, or work. Sam asks Diane if she has a run in her stocking. Diane goes on about the run being big and high and up on her thigh. Marvin turns to tell her to shut up. As he does, Sam attempts to kick the gun out of Marvin's hand, but is unsuccessful. Marvin warns him, you better not do that again. So my mom and I used to have a debate about Shelley Long and Kirstie Alley as to who's better looking. Um, Being a huge Kirstie Alley fan, I was on the Kirstie side. She was on the Shelley side. And one thing she used to talk about was Shelley Long's legs. And she was like, Kirstie Alley has big, fat, chunky legs. She's like, and Shelley Long has those beautiful long legs. So it made me think of this when she was showing her leg. Um, now I think both are very attractive women. I could see why Sam likes them both. But I don't understand is why they don't like Sam more, because Sam's hot. Yeah, I've had a crush on Ted Danson for a million years now. Okay, so where were we? I got sidetracked. Sorry. Oh, so Diane tells Marvin she understands how he feels because she's in love with Sam. He asks why, and she says, I gotta. Marvin says the best thing he could do for Diane would be to shoot Sam. However, he says he won't do that because it would hurt Diane more than it would hurt Sam. Sam and Diane thank him and he leaves. Sam thanks Diane. He says he doesn't know how to really thank her, but then he goes to the phone to call the newspaper and set the record straight about what really happened. He tells her that he wants her to think that he's a good person because he actually cares about how she thinks of him. He asks for the city desk and then asks who he's speaking with. He learns her name is Emily. Sam starts flirting with her and Diane leaves. Sam asks Emily, You're not married, are you? That's pretty much the episode. So I gave this episode 3.5 out of 5 beer nuts. It was pretty good, but it seemed very predictable to me. And so it wasn't as exciting. And there wasn't, I mean, they had some really good lines in this one. I did have a little bit of trouble deciding on the lines, but overall, like I said, it was pretty good. The MVP I gave to Shelley Long. Even though Sam's the one that gets shot and he deals all that, she's kind of like the one that's, as usual, playing kind of like his conscience. Like, really, you need to think about telling the truth. And she had some pretty good lines in there too. And not only was Shelley Long MVP, but for best dress for this episode, I chose Diane Chambers. And you'll see this in a second. I really like this top she has on here. It's red and white, black. This is me describing to kill time. Here it is. Okay. I really like this outfit, this top that she has on. And it's the cold open and then the first day there. So I gave her best dressed. The Grand Sam line between Marvin and Sam. Marvin, what am I going to do? Who am I kidding? She's a tramp. I've always known it, and I've never admitted it. You got anything to drink? Yeah, I think we got a bottle around here. Beyond baseline between Diane and Carla. I can't believe my ears. Gee, and I never believed your hair or your nose. Here's a little known fact. Cliff says his father abandoned him and his mother a few years ago. In a later episode, he says his dad abandoned him when he was a child. So if you like this episode, as always, please join our Facebook group. Cheers, that's one woman's opinion. You can follow us on Instagram at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter X at One Woman Opinion. Join the Reddit subgroup Cheers Rewatch Podcast. Sorry, Cheers Rewatch. And feel free to email with questions, comments, etc. at Cheers One Woman's Opinion Podcast at gmail.com. Next week, we'll be looking at Cheers Season 3, Episode 6, Coach in Love, Part 1. And that's one woman's opinion. Thank you.